All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Xbox Series X dashboard. It's that time in the generation again. Microsoft is trying to update the dashboard to a brand new layout. And I have to say that this one that we're about to tour right now is probably one of the most minimal changes I've seen from Microsoft. In terms of them updating the layout and whatnot. But I wanted to kind of show you guys what Microsoft's been changing and stuff. If you're part of the Xbox Preview program, and more specifically in the Alpha Skip Ahead program, you got this dashboard update this week. For everyone else, I think Microsoft is planning to launch this around 2023, sometime around the first quarter there. But if you remember, when the Xbox Series X launched, we didn't get any new dashboards with that console, which is traditional for every console launch. That's one of the most exciting things is you get the console, you get brand new games, brand new higher visual fidelity, and then a brand new dashboard with all these features on top of that. What Microsoft instead opted to do was just to use the existing Xbox One dashboard for the Series X. I could see, on the flip side, a positive thing about that is that all the features available in that dashboard were pretty much there available at launch for the Series X, but it just wasn't an exciting, change. It felt more or less like a graphics card upgrade for a PC as opposed to like you starting a brand new generation of consoles. So this is really what we're about to see, their first iteration for an Xbox Series X specific dashboard. However, I do think that this dashboard is still coming to Xbox One consoles. So if you don't have a Series X yet, you should be getting an update that actually changes the layout to what you're seeing here on screen. But in any case, I thought we'd take kind of a casual look through this and see what Microsoft's changed. It's honestly not that much. This is one of the most mild updates I've seen, but they did say that they are trying to, take feedback into account here. What they've essentially done with this dashboard that we're about to look at is they've integrated Game Pass into this dashboard and the Microsoft Store, and basically just tried to make it, a lot of people kind of compare this to like the Netflix or like a Hulu, layout and stuff, which is kind of hilarious because I believe that one of the people who's in charge of the Xbox UIs used to actually work on a video streaming service. I think it was Hulu. One of the people who are in charge of the whole, UI developments and stuff had that background. But anyway, we're going to kind of take a look here and see. This is the new layout on the Xbox Series X, and you can see immediately they haven't changed a lot. What they've done here is they've basically layered out each of the tiles so that they're now the same size. Previously, we had a larger tile, which was like sort of your main tile for your last used app. Well, now we have our 6 previously used games or applications right here in the top row. On the bottom, we now have, our My Games and Apps, which has been here previously, but brand new, they just added this Microsoft Store app. So this is permanent. Previously, the Microsoft Store used to be an app that would come up in the main tile section here. Now this is a permanent, area on the dashboard, the Microsoft Store. And you still have your advertisements here, your 3 advertisements from Microsoft in this particular section. Now, they've also, they updated this a few months ago with the existing layout, but they've added in a search bar up here and a settings button on the top. So this is a kind of a quick way to get you to, either search for contents. So you can see, these are all the latest games and stuff. If I wanted to look up like the Callisto Protocol coming up, you can see, you start typing it, it shows up your, whatever the quickest, most relevant options are. And you can click into the game, which would give you, bring you directly to the store and stuff to actually view the content at hand. And this works with all the content from the store as well. I would like to see it a little bit more robust. For example, I don't think that you could actually, search people's names on here. Yeah, you can't search like, gamer tags or anything like that. I would like to see where that would kind of be a possibility where you can search like people's, gamer tags or something like that in this top search bar. At the moment, it's just your apps and whatever the store content is. On top of that, we have our settings button here. This is now a quick option just to immediately get to your settings, you can see that they've kind of changed this a little bit as well. We now have a recommendations bar at the top here, which sort of shows you your recommended settings. It's kind of like your quick access whatnot. I would actually like to see this, be even integrated further, where you can certainly add like different options of the settings into like a quick access mode. So for example, if I want to, change my resolution settings right here, instead of navigating through, general TV display options and maybe going to, I don't know, my video mode section and like enabling the toggle for these options, maybe I could, highlight certain options so that they're in my quick access, so I can go up here and, basically have that be at the top here for quick viewing. So that's what I would recommend right off the bat. But most of this is basically the same. They changed kind of layout here or there. Your network settings are there. Here's all your TV settings and whatnot. Your audio settings. There's a few different things here or there. For example, you have an audio setup mode, which actually will display, play certain sounds through your speaker setup depending on what you have. So you can see if I go to Dolby Digital, it's going to translate to a 5.1 setup, and it's going to play those audio cues all throughout my speakers. So something to keep in mind there. Power options, they've actually added this cool graph as well. So Microsoft has been trying to really improve the basically the power consumption of the console itself. So they got this down to half a watt, which is actually pretty impressive. And you can see, even if you want to go with the energy saving options, it shows you what it does support, which is nice. So this is kind of like a cool little graph of what's, available and what you can see and all the different features that it supports. All your personalization options are pretty much the same. They didn't add any new colors or anything like that. So this is all basically the same colors that are available. Your scheduling for your white or black backgrounds, and then your backgrounds itself. They've added in this new Fallout 25th anniversary for the Fallout series, but all this is pretty much the same. They don't have anything dramatically new here. You can change the color of right off the bat of the backgrounds and kind of scroll through and see in real time how that actually affects the art. For backgrounds that support that, so that's cool. But most of that is basically the same. Account settings, same stuff here. I didn't really notice anything different. Console settings, same exact thing. You do have your devices and whatnot. This is all, again, pretty similar in of itself. Notifications, here's your capture settings. So this is all pretty much the same. I think notifications. There was a few different settings where they've actually changed and added in some nice images or animations and stuff like that. But most of it is pretty similar to what you've already kind of are used to with the current layout. The nice thing about this settings now with this new dashboard is if we go back to the home screen, you'll see that there's no longer a settings tile. It shows up right here in your previously used apps, but it's no longer a tile that appears on the home screen. I actually like this because now it's just permanently up here. You no longer need a tile to basically get to the settings very quickly. It's always going to be in that top right corner. Now, the My Games and Apps section, again, pretty similar. So here's all your games that are installed, all your apps that are installed. They have this new Captures app right now. So you can now access your captures directly from an app. You can see I've been playing a Plague Tale Requiem and having a great time with it, taking a lot of pictures. So, this is basically the same functionality of what you're used to with the current Xbox One or Xbox Series X UI. But now they've actually added in apps specifically for this. Now, with this, they've actually, I believe, added in some editing and whatnot. So if you actually record some game clips, the idea is that you can actually go and edit these. Let me see if I can pull up a video here really quickly and see what that looks like. So if I go to one of my game clips here, yeah, we have a trim option now. So you can do some light editing with the video work. So you can actually trim out certain segments of the video directly through this app, and then further upload that on social media. It looks like it's not working. Anyway, it is a beta still, and that app is brand new and will be included as part of this UI. I can't even exit my. I can't even exit the screen. Yeah, it looks like that is a bug currently, so we'll try not to go into the trim settings, but basically you could trim your video clips to be, a certain length and then upload those to your social, channels like Twitter and whatnot. Let's exit out of the captures for now. Anyway, that's a brand new app that's been included with this UI, excuse me. If you go to your groups, same thing here. Here's all your game groups. You can now add these to home as well. So if I wanted to add like my 2022 games, you'll see that there's an add to home option. If I go ahead and select that, and then we go back to the main home screen, you'll see that it's now been added to the actual home layout. Now, you no longer have the ability to actually kind of move these around and whatnot, so you basically get what you get with wherever it places it. Usually it does kind of place it a little bit down further, so I can't move this up, for instance, so I can have it directly when I scroll down. It's just going to place it, wherever it feels like that. And then to actually get rid of that, you actually have to go back to your games and apps, your groups, and then highlight this and remove it from home. So you can still add stuff to the home screen, but you have kind of less control over the layout of basically where you can add things. You're sort of at the mercy of whatever the console decides it's going to do there. So I don't really care for that. But all your groups are still here. You can still organize your games, your quick resumes and whatnot. And your full library, this is all basically the same. And of course your updates. I think the tile size is also something that they added sort of mid update, but it should be available for everyone. You can adjust the tile sizes for specifically the size of these tiles in this particular section. And your Microsoft Store, like I said, there's an actual button for it now that's permanent on the home screen. So through this, it just brings you directly to the store layout, and this is exactly how it is before. There's no changes or anything like that. So the real thing is when you start scrolling down here, you saw me do that a little bit earlier, but when you start scrolling down here, this is the main criticism that a lot of people are starting to have with this layout, is that it feels like one giant big ad for Game Pass. And on top of that, it kind of feels like you're browsing through a Netflix or Hulu layout, like some type of video streaming where you just have games and it just goes, and it's just basically, it's not even relevant content to you. It's telling you things like, classic games with FPS boosts, most played games from people, visually distinguished games, like all these different genres and things like that, but they're not really your games. It's trying to get you to play different, games that are available on the platform. So all this is not really relevant to, it's not like if you're going to start playing a lot of first-person shooters, you're going to see nothing but first-person shooters. It's basically at the control of whatever Microsoft decides it wants to advertise to you. And so like these are the most played games. For me, it's like, I like my single-player games. I understand, most played games, Call of Duty, Apex, Grand Theft Auto. It's like, no shit, these are the popular games that a lot of people are playing. But this isn't, like, relevant to me, Classic games with FPS boosts. Why not show the games that I have in my library that have FPS boosts instead of, just all these other random games, Some of them I have in my library, but not digitally. Visually distinguished games, stuff like this. It's like, okay, all this stuff, Game Pass. It doesn't really indicate to you, any sort of relevant content. You can see like a nostalgia option here. So this is like the new sort of layout, and this is what they've basically added in, is if you scroll down now, you have less control over what gets displayed on your home screen, and they basically taken the Game Pass UI and mixed it in with like the store, the Microsoft Store layout, and the different things that are available within certain genres of that store, and now it's just available readily to you when you scroll down. Now, for me personally, I never had anything on the main home screen, the old layout, when I scrolled down, because I just didn't care about, pinning anything to the bottom here. But for, right now, again, this is just permanently here. I can't edit any options. You'll see that there's no longer an edit option. There's just a search option down on the bottom right. A few different things I can add to like a play later. But yeah, it's not as I think it's not as personalizable as it was before, and everything in terms of your actual your actual dash here with the quick menu is all the same. So this hasn't changed at all whatsoever. They've added in I guess Discord customization, so you can go into here and kind of see your Discord servers, but that's about it. But all that is basically the same here. Even like your layout page here is the same. So I mean, in terms of the Xbox Series X UI, that's the bulk of what Microsoft has given access to already. It's again one of the most mild changes I've seen. And there's a lot of criticism that people are pointing at it. One of the big things, of course, is that you have these dynamic backgrounds, but it almost feels like they're not even allowed to be showcased at all. For example, if I go back to the settings here, and you'll see if I go to the personalizable settings and I change my background to that Fallout 25th anniversary, here I have this beautiful background with the power suit and all that stuff. If I go back to my home screen, the power suit is completely blocked by all the tiles that are directly here on the home screen, and it just feels like such an afterthought. Like they're trying to push so many things in your face when it comes to advertisements and all this not really so irrelevant content, that you have these nice dynamic backgrounds and you can't even enjoy them because it's like, what's the point? I can't see the Vault-Tec armor, the power armor. I can't see it at all. I mean, it just feels like there's so much of an emphasis on the content and not the art that encompasses it. So it kind of makes some of these backgrounds completely pointless, in my opinion. And there's a lot of people who have just done conceptual renders of the Xbox, UI that they would like for their Series X, and they look fantastic. And to me, again, this looks like I'm browsing Hulu or Netflix or something. You just keep scrolling down all these genres. It feels, it's not as pleasant to look at. It's not as intuitive, in my opinion. You have less customization in certain areas, and I just don't think a lot of people are going to like the direction of what Microsoft is trying to accomplish here. In my opinion, we should have gotten a dashboard update with the launch of the Series X. I know a lot of people don't care here and there. It's just the console UI, so what does it matter? It's like, this is your navigation to all the content on your console, and that was one of the great exciting things, is when you bought a console, you got to get brand new features, brand new UI. It felt like a new generation. And the Series X to me felt more like a graphics card upgrade from my Xbox One X, more so than a brand new generation at times. And with this dashboard layout, it's like, this to me, after 2 years of having the console out on the market, this is where we are right now. I just expected more from a UI layout, and this to me feels like a mid refresh to like a much better UI. Like, okay, we're just gonna update the UI for now, but we're larger things are to come, and we're working on a much more dramatic change. And I just expected to see a lot more than this. This to me isn't as it's just not as pleasant to look at. I like certain things like the settings options up here in the search bar up there. That's nice. I like that the Microsoft Store has its own permanent tile down there. Like that's fine, but I don't care for any of this down here. I don't care for the free games. Everyone and their mother knows that Modern Warfare 2 just launched. I don't care for these apps that I'm never going to download on my console or use. I don't care for these trending games. I don't care for any of this stuff. And it's just the discovery, and I get what Microsoft's trying to do. They want to add like a layer of discovery for people who maybe aren't so into games or don't follow games so often. This is a great UI, I guess, for those people, who just don't keep up with the news and all this stuff going on. But at the very least, allow us to customize it. Allow me to move things around or to change things. Like at least the old layout did that, and this one's pretty bare bones in that respect. So, I mean, that's the current UI that's updated at the moment. Microsoft says that they are looking for feedback and they are looking to make more dramatic changes. But I think that what we're going to be getting is something that's going to be largely similar to this when it launches sometime next year for everyone. And Microsoft needs to really create something here. I think that really showcases and puts the art of the game front and center and puts what you're playing front and center as well. I'm not a fan of the advertisements. I'm really not. Microsoft has always done this, even with like the 360 in the past when they updated it to the Metro layout. The last dashboard for that system, it was like you had the giant tiles of all of the games that were coming, up for that system. Everything was an advertisement, and then your game in the disc tray was a little tiny icon in like the top left. I just feel like they need to really create something here that puts the games that you have that you're playing front and center first. So that's my thoughts and feelings on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but I just want to create a quick video to kind of run around and tour what the new features are available for this platform. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. All right. Thanks, guys.